Okay, this video starts with the same design that we used last time. I'm going to show you on here in the Object Manager. You can see the stitch packs from the DST in the previous zigzag that we put in there. Now, looking at the digitized fonts, when you open that, when you click on the ABC, you can see all of the fonts that are available in your system. These are pre-digitized and pretty much ready, good to go. Now, over in the True Types section, any font that you have installed on your computer will show up within this window. Please remember that font has to be conducive to embroidery to be successful. So don't pick anything too ornate or too thin-lined. Picking something on the medium end, we're going to go in here and put some True Type fonting in there. Picking a good font reduces the errors. We're going to go with a, let's see, curve section. Pressing enter brings it into the work area. You can see at 5 millimeters it's awfully small, so we're going to change that size, making it about 15. Bringing it up. You can see over in the arrange section above that we have a curve setting. And you can see that I've changed the lettering distance from 2 to 1 and the word spacing to 40%. Going to go and reprocess this. At this point it looks okay. We can start making our arc. Using the middle nodes on the left hand side, you can squeeze it in. Middle node on the bottom will bring the arch up. Using control click on the numbers on the rule on the left or the top, you can find the center of the border and then use those center nodes to position your lettering. The bottom left node, you can stretch it up and down. The bottom right node is a spinner. Spin it around. Accept OK or reprocess the design. Clicking on the lettering again, we're going to go into the stitch type using that little arrow to the right. We can see that we're at 5 millimeters. We're going to put some pull compensation in. Right now it's fixed at 0.3, and we're going to add some underlay. This time we're going to use some zigzag. And then we're going to make sure that we have lock stitches. A classic lock. Press OK. And it's going to apply the lock stitches. Regenerate. Selecting the object again, making a few more positional changes, and a few other fun tricks are on the way. Regenerate. We're going to do a save as. We're also going to save it the first time as a DSG file. Then if you're ready to sew, you're going to export to the machine embroidery format. There doesn't appear to be one in the folder already, so we'll need to accept the name. Get those needles contiguous, and you would be ready to sew. There are other options. You can change colors. Just remember, any changes you make after you export it, you got to save them to the DSG and then export them again. We're going to make sure that we have locks on the letters and trims on the words. So again, there's that DSG save with the changes, and then the export to the machine embroidery format. Oops, got to generate first. Now it can be exported. There it is. Right over that last save file. Any node that you see within the lettering, each node does certain items. You can go into the manual to check out which nodes do what. I'm going to show you a quick positioning left and right, and then I'll change some of the sizes on the letters to show you what the options are. So you can see we have our arch, we've saved it, we've exported it. Now I'm going to show you changing and pulling on different nodes to create different effects within the lettering. Make things grow, change their positions. It's whatever creativity you have, you can make those changes. Once you know what the nodes do, you can actually make a font fit into your needs, into your artwork. And that's pretty much it for using TrueType fonting. The best practice is to practice. And that's it. Okay, beginning again, we're going to open up an Internet Explorer, and we're going to just Google free font sites. Click on it, get into it, see what you like, pick one out, click on the download. I like to download mine directly to the desktop, but you can put yours into the download folder if you like. Once you've downloaded what you want, close it out, open up your Explorer, and go to your desktop, locate the zip file, and extract it all. Once you've extracted it, it usually opens up that folder, and you can go ahead and click on the image. Yep, that's what I wanted. Clicking on the font itself opens up the install font window for Windows. Just click on install, and there it is. It's now available in your system, which means it's also available in your embroidery software. Click on the lettering, choose your TrueType, and then search for your little hipster font that you just downloaded. Open it up, and you're ready to type. Now, remember, you need to pick fonts that are conducive to embroidery, number one. And you'll also have to remember that not all fonts are created equal. So you're going to get some spacing issues, you're going to get some generation issues, but I'm going to show you a few tricks on how to solve that problem. I've made this at just under 3 inches. I'm changing the lettering to see the lettering spacing to see what's happening, but you can see what I just said about spacing issues. So this looks like it's going to be a manual adjustment challenge. So I'm going to scooch everything around, get it the way I want it. Because it's kind of scripty, I want everything to overlap just a teeny bit, so it presents more of a handwriting style in the design. You can eyeball your spacing like I'm doing here, you know, you can do whatever you like, really, because this, you are actually creating a design with a font element. You still have font properties. I like to keep my properties available in the design until I'm done. I'm happy with the sew out, I'm happy with the density, and then I go from there. I'm not going to do the whole line, I'm just going to show you the differences. So I'm getting everything put the way I want. Going to go ahead and process the design, and you can see it looks pretty good from what it was on the right to now what I've done to it on the left. So now you're going to go into your stitch type. We're going to add some pull compensation. Right now it's at 5 density. I'm going to add some pull. I'm going to do a fixed. It's at 3. I'm going to add a little bit of underlay. Since it's kind of thin, I'm going to use an underlay of the centered. I'm going to make it pass twice. 2 passes of that. I'm going to see how the 2 millimeter stitch length works out for me, generating that. Okay, looks pretty good. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to inspect each letter, and you can see, wow, the direction on this design is just wow. That's not going to look too good when it's sewed out. So I'm going to be coming up here to the direction line, and you can see what you want to do is, I always tell people, think of a pie. When you're going around a corner, and think of cutting slices in a pie so that they're nice, even, kind of going toward the center so that the stitches can roll around the edges, go straight on the straightaway. You're going to have to keep playing around with it until you can get it to generate. Usually generations are either you're going to have to add some direction, or you may need to even adjust what was given to you or actually remove it. So I'm just in the process now of doing that true type font. Let's see what we can make better. I took an element out. I'm going to put some more in, generate, see what happens. Yeah, it's not an exact science, so we're kind of playing beat the system here. You got to mathematically make it happen. Usually on the cut lines, which are the little purple nodes, you want your direction lines to be away from them so that it doesn't conflict with it. Just keep adding them. Get them so that they look like that little pie. Oh, wow, I got that one. So now I got to do the top. Yep, still got to keep going on here. Okay, we're getting there a little bit more. So we've got it going. Now, one of the things with the True Types fonts is when you regenerate, sometimes what you edited doesn't pull through, and you can see that that's what's occurring here. I just keep regenerating until it finally accepts it. So I'm coming in here, I'm putting lock stitches on the words because I've got them overlapped. They don't need to lock if they're going into another. And then I need my trims on my actual words. So I'm locking the words, I'm trimming the words. Now you can see it's not generated, but over to the right, if you open that section up, you'll see that there's actually stitches in there. It's just not generating. When I select it, it generates. So it's just a little game of hide and seek to get it to go. Sometimes if you go ahead and save the design, that kind of fixes it up. It's just a hiccup in the coding. Just for good measure, I'm going to add a few more around those split nodes. I'm going to generate it again. but I know it's there because when I select it, it selects, and it actually is giving me a stitch count in there. I just have to just keep playing with it. If I exported it, I'm sure it would be okay, but I like to see everything before I do that. So working with TrueType fonts, you see that it can be pretty fiddly. Get my pie slices. Regenerate. The worst case scenario on this is that you would ungroup or you would explode your entire text and turn it into a design. If you can't, that would be the last resort. But it looks like we got it now. So we'll move on through all of the letters and we'll make any directions, adjustments that are needed. Any spacing that's needed. This I don't like. I'm going to add on a couple of directions probably. You don't want your nodes to overlap because it creates intersections with the math and you get funky results. So we'll try and see if we kept that S. And it looks like, well, looks like we lost that one. So we're just going to keep, again, playing around with reprocessing until it finally accepts it. Again, probably fine on export, but I like to see it. I don't like it missing. So once it's done, you're going to do your save as DSG in case you need to make some edits first. And then you're going to export it as a machine embroidery file. And that's it for that. I hope it helped.